Folks, we are ready to go. It is time for your elimination final. We have TSM versus Optic happening right now.
Excited to take over here in our elimination finals. I'm excited. I'm not sure TSM are too excited, Dan, because after that bloodbath, they now find themselves up against Optic Gaming. And it's not really a task I want to be dealing with.
Yeah, you really have got to dig deep for TSM here, just because of the struggles you just went through. And now you're right back at it. Out of the frying pan and into the fire, I think is the best expression here. Stronghold's live fire is where we kick things off. Maybe a saving grace for TSM as their Optic Gaming is 0-2 on Stronghold's live fire so far this tournament. Equally though, TSM have not won it, and we just saw them getting absolutely battered on Stronghold's recharge. So yeah, we're going to need to see TSM really change something up here, because right now it is hard, I think, for anyone to believe this is going to be anything but an Optic Gaming victory. We need to see TSM win this first map to give me any belief they still have what it takes, because at the moment they look second best.
One of the keys to victory in the last series for TSM was they're going to be their teamwork, where individual skill might let them down, where they don't have some of the superstars. They can always rely on their teamwork. We didn't see that in the first series. It's time to come to life, where you're going to see yet another Championship Sunday play out where you go 0-6. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to flip the script. But for Optic Gaming, they've got TSM in their sights. They're hungry. It's shields up, weapons hot. We're underway here.
Now the players who really underperformed last time that Optic Gaming went up against TSM on Strongholds, it was probably Lqgend. He was really quite quiet, only averaging a 0.75 KD, and that's something that you would expect better from the French phenom. So if we see the likes of Lqgend step up in this game, maybe Optic can just topple TSM in this series and get that revenge they so desperately are after here.
Oh! Renegade opens up Druk. A snipe shot to the face. Formal's got camouflage. He can take his time with SoulSnipe here before getting the reset. Two dead, Lqgend and Renegade. SoulSnipe and Taulek on the opposite side. Gonna be green spawns here. Manny takes some damage, forced to back away. Formal can just move rectilian under the cover of his camouflage. Close the distance, get the kill, teammates there. TSM trying to capture A here, but they're losing B. This is a pretty decent start from Optic Gaming.
And one thing we saw from TSM in the previous against phase is when they are behind, they get a little bit flustered. They start to throw themselves at strongholds, and they really struggle to get back into the game. They cannot afford to go that far behind here again to Optic Gaming, but are we going to witness more of the same? Because Optic have control, Optic have the sniper rifle, and Optic have the map, and TSM need to find a way back in.
Renegade up in his perch. Top tower sitting pretty. Ghillie suit on. Ready to find some faces. Eyes trained over top middle. Now looking to go towards Nest Bridge. Just whiffs on Druk. A slight pixel away from finding the face there. Has lost a couple of teammates inbound, and Lqgend has to play this one appropriately and accordingly. Gets a kill onto Manny. Close the distance now over towards Green, looking to contest. Gets the reset for now. As TSM have just backed out of it, trying to prioritize surviving. Trying to survive. Druk goes down. Lqgend inbound, fall 2. Renegade last man standing for his team, but gets a kill. He's being pinched here from two players from either side. Needs to play this one as perfectly as he can. Can he get the trade into Manny? The answer is no. Shut down. This is better from TSM.
That was well played from Manny as well, recognizing the QT was going to come into the equation and just nading into Taulek just in case he went back in. And finally, TSM will break. So, Optic Gaming, they only were trying to hold for 2. TSM took a little while to break, but at least now they are going to be able to put some points on the board here and maybe give them a little bit more confidence here in this series.
Points on the board, exactly what the doctor ordered. Maybe hand out some prescriptions for Leticillin. Renegade with camouflage. He's moving and grooving once more, getting information all the while, pinging for his teammates. Doesn't want to reveal himself just yet. Waiting for the opportune moment. Here it comes. Taulek had no idea where he was standing. 5 fresh shots. Sniper rifle's going to pop up as well. Manny over towards C. Renegade's happy just to settle for capturing B. Now we'll look to contest the sniper rifle, but it's just been scooped up by a member of TSM. They're down 2 members. SoulSnipe's going to try and do what Renegade did. Hold tower. Momentary trip cap for Optic Gaming. 78 points in climbing. This is far more competitive from TSM. This is much better.
Formal had no right to get that kill onto SoulSnipe, by the way. SoulSnipe was trusting in his teammates to put pressure on Formal, but Formal was not swayed at all. He knew he had to get his eyes trained on the sniper rifle. Even though TSM had the sniper, even though they had tower, they only had one stronghold, so they were really unable to set up. They had to be aggressive to try and take either B or A away from them. Now Optic, instead, they have control, and now they have the sniper rifle. And you don't want it in formal sands, I'll tell you that for free.
Just thought with the way he's playing, he was going to hit the shot as well. TSM do put him away. They're going to combine. Renegade gets double kill. Prioritizing the player that was weakest. Great heads-up play from him, great awareness. All 4 dead for TSM. And Optic Gaming really starting to find their feet now in game 1.
There's going to be a temporary trip cap, but they're probably going to spawn over towards A here to try and contest. But Optic can obviously take that fight as they just captured it as well. I think now we're going to get some split spawns, but split spawns, no problem. All 4 dead is Optic Gaming again with the trip cap.
Spawning out towards camouflage now. Druk isolated all alone, crying for help. Tries to escape up cuts, but he's being hunted down by the wolf pack. Taulek over towards Nest. D-scopes Renegade pretty quickly. Renegade peels one from the high heavens.
I mean, Renegade getting into that kind of form. Optic Gaming getting into that kind of championship mentality form again. Early here on Sunday. And I'm sure they just want to be able to batter through TSM and start to think about FaZe Clan, but this game 1 is going exactly how they would have expected. 195 to 50 right now, and Manny gets shut down by Formal. A's being taken once more. This could be another trip cap. Optic Gaming looking to close this one out as fast as they could.
TSM running out of opportunities. A is gone. They're going to swap over C, but it doesn't matter. Optic Gaming will keep on scoring points. They now have a numbers advantage. It's time to use it. But they've given themselves so much to do yet again here. It has to be almost perfect Halo from here on out for them to win this game. Renegade's back green. It should be an easy kill, a cleanup for Manny.
Team nearing
He steps inside B. Optic Gaming have a lot of time to respond here.
I think it's evident that Strongholds just isn't the game type for TSM. Not just based off what we've seen over these last 2, but I mean statistics go alongside it as well. As Optic continue to score, and I think TSM need to start looking towards these Slayers and finding a way back into this series. As soon as TSM get out and find a stronghold, Optic are already at their next one. Their rotations have been excellent.
It's the speed in which Optic Gaming are playing at, the pace. TSM just haven't been able to find an answer for it. You can see Manny there, he was hesitant. Do I go and help the players at C? Do I stay B? And in the end, he was between that rock and a hard place, and he chose neither. He died at Nest. Optic Gaming just do not hesitate. They're relentless. Lqgend finds another face. And Optic Gaming look to close out game 1 in another dominant fashion. The green wall looking pretty strong.
Not looking good for TSM, however. 4 losses in a row and 2 strongholds in a row that looked extremely one-sided. But maybe that is something for TSM to go off. They get their bad one out of the way. Let's now start to look at the rest of the series. We know we can take down Optic in these Slayers. We've done it before, we can do it again. But is this a slightly different look, Optic Gaming, to early on Friday in pool play? But maybe they weren't quite awake, maybe they weren't quite as into it as they are now. Maybe it was the wake-up call they needed right at the start of Friday. You heard what Lottie was saying when she spoke to Coach Lunchbox. He felt a certain kind of way when they saw those reactions from TSM. And I wonder, how will they and the fans react if Optic Gaming take down TSM here?
It's almost that Michael Jordan meme. I took that personally. I'm looking to avenge that here and now. A dominant display in game 1. Optic Gaming finding their feet. Green Wall finding their voice. All things again. This is not good news for TSM. They've got to find a response. We're calling for something. We need to show signs of life. Because we want nothing more than a competitive TSM here in these series. But they just haven't woken up so far.
I mean, we said it right at the start of the broadcast today. As soon as we saw that TSM were going to be in this situation, would it be a repeat from the World Championship of 2022, the last time this team was a 4? They got all their way. They had that amazing tournament to get to top 3, but then fell flat on Sunday. And it's not just TSM. We've seen it happen historically throughout Halo history. Sometimes the bracket just plays out in a way where the good teams end up playing each other. You can kind of breeze through to that upper end, get into the winners final just because of a really good day in pool play. And TSM need to right that wrong, change that story, and it has to happen here in Slayer Recharge. One of the reasons why TSM, I think, were so good against Optic Gaming in Slayers was because all of them were being aggressive. They weren't allowing Optic that time to kind of plan an action, plan an attack. And another factor is Formal had a disappointing series, especially in Slayers when they played in pool play. A 0.6 KD across both Slayers is not really the stats line you would see from Formal. If he wakes up here, if he's playing like he has been so far across Saturday and already here into Sunday, yeah, I'm a little bit worried for TSM.
Clutch talked about how were TSM going to respond, how are they going to shift their mentality after a pretty dismal performance in that winners finals. They haven't been able to respond thus far. Here comes another Slayer, another opportunity, one of their stronger map mode combinations. This is where they have to respond. They go down 0-2, Dan. You may as well call curtains.
I'm going to be keeping my eye on Manny for this one. He was the one who stepped up the last time these two teams fought up against each other in pool play on Slayers. He was just able to find everything but Lqgend. Able to work in tandem with Bound. There's going to be a 3-kill apiece on either side for this starting strategy, but Taulek will get the better. So TSM win the early trade-off.
Good from Taulek. He got the backstab. You know he wants to try and close distance, get that camouflage. Scoops up a Shroud Screen, but Renegade's not going to let this one go too easy. And he gets the kill. Shroud Screen goes down. It is utilized, and this time it's Renegade with the camouflage.
Renegade is relentless with his aggression, by the way. The way he will follow a grenade around a corner, the way he will chase a kill, knowing full well that that player is not going to get away under his watch as he gets the double, and he's not going to go for the triple, though, because he has the camo.
Great discipline from Renegade. Looking for more information, going for that shock rifle now. Druk is over towards goal, though. Fortunately for Renegade, that's exactly where TSM spawns. So he's going to have to fight tooth and nail for this. Fortunately for him, two of his teammates go down. His camouflage dissipates, and he's in the middle of no man's land. He gets taken care of.
Really good.
Over towards batteries.
Really good defensive grenades as well from TSM. They recognize where Optic Gaming may have been trying to push them over towards Bat Ledge. Just ensure that no one's able to jump up and get into a position to steal that shock rifle away from them. But now if you're SoulSnipe, you know you have a responsibility with this weapon. Lqgend just falls into his tight lines here. A gift from the heavens. It's a 2-kill lead for TSM. They have to win this game. They know it, we know it, everyone watching knows it as well. If Optic go 2 up here, you start to think about that grand final already.
SoulSnipe could be about to take over this game. Already 6-2-2. His team need him. Slides over towards Guts. Gets a double kill on long haul. Killing spree locked in for him as well. Taulek, though, he's going to be the victim of Bound's aggression. Now a shock rifle. Bound lines up too, somehow. Kills like that go against you. It's so difficult. TSM still with a 1-kill advantage.
Again, that's the difference maker, isn't it? The clutch factor that this Optic roster offers, just being able to hit shots like that. Considering the Slayers last time these two played were 50-48, 50-49, those single kills could be a huge difference in the grand scheme of things.
And we talked about it yesterday. Penguin was on the sofa talking about what was the difference between the team, blah, blah, blah. He said they just hit 4 unbelievable no-scopes. Bound's already hit 1. Formal clears his corners wisely here. Incredible game awareness from Optic to clear that corner. He could have been forgiven for just walking straight past. I think it was clear.
That's a man who's played more video games than just Halo, I'll tell you that. Very much happy to check his corners. He's not going to be bettered by anyone trying to be sneaky. 21-19 now in favor of Optic Gaming. The next shock rifle was about to come up, and Renegade, I think, already had his hands on it before it even spawned.
Situated on goal steps. Fights happening over towards long haul. Players situated over towards top tower as well. Formal gets a kill. Renegade eyes up Taulek, but opted to delay his shot. For good reason, just wasn't quite on the face just yet. Shroud Screen goes down, Druk spot on middle. See, Renegade's not too comfortable where he's standing. For information from his team. A couple players over towards long haul. We have a little bit of a stalemate now.
A little bit of quiet across Recharge here. Maybe a good chance to jump into a listening with Optic Gaming and seeing what they're feeling about this one.
Too much every. Gas one every. Siki.
Trying to push this. Dead, two dead. Camo, guys, 5 seconds. Matt's on it. Matt's camo.
Enemy
Make one shot, two guys make.
Yeah, main weak.
We have camo.
Good shot. Yep, John, give me.
It's in gold, it's in gold.
Cross our battery.
Put him in, top turn. I didn't drop.
Nice, we got one. Nice, shoot that, guys. Watch out, three dead. Last guy.
Yo, push it.
Top 8. Let's get top 8.
That's fine.
You might go bottom.
Top A weak. Nice, guys.
Spawn bottom edge.
8 kill lead.
I'm walking out again. I'm finding character.
Glass.
Kim was almost out, man.
You're bottom beer, man. You're bottom beer.
Zero weak, Manny. It's C.
Behind you.
Manny, watch out.
Tower serve, said 2
Where?
down.
Silo.
Pushing glass.
Watch out.
Nice shot. John, what's
Ziggy.
Apologize.
He's long Druk.
They have shock.
Balance your shot.
Careful, 2 dead.
What is pushing? We'll
Try and find each other.
Yeah, embassy plat.
Might push Matt Tower.
They did. One pair. Mid, play this guy. On the stairs, one shot.
C plat.
Play trade, John. Play trade.
Nice,
Shoot on this kid, actually. Shoot on this fucking kid. Behind him.
One shot C.
Go Pepsi, I'm going.
Backsy. Yo, whole crosses. Like, simple.
I'll push out.
Make the game simple. Whole crosses.
What's bottom here?
Here.
You run. One's big door. Or glass. Glass, Manny, glass.
You're bottom, I'm watching.
We do not have glass claws.
I can see it.
I have glass.
No one's bottom here.
They're lock on Druk on the BR. They're one glass Druk now.
Yeah, Sebri. I kind of want to double hit glass.
30, guys.
You want to double hit glass?
Glass with a beer.
Alright, 6 kill lead then for Optic Gaming as they are starting to take control of this game. And one key thing I actually want to take away, Lunchbox with a call out to Formal. Only a few seconds left on that camouflage. Not something typically you would think about timing as a coach, but very important, because as a player, sometimes you forget how long you're going to have. And of course, you can give away your position very quickly just from the audio cue when that camo goes away.
There's a couple of other things that were mentioned. Renegade, as he picks up a double kill, funnily enough, they went down, they had a 6 kill advantage instead of their 8 and 10, and he said, just slow it down, play it simple, hold crosses. Good communication. Formal immediately reacted to that. Lunchbox at one point saying 8 kill advantage, just letting the players know they have a decent lead and maybe they can take some risks. And that lead continues to grow. It's now 10 as Formal's trying face with the shock rifle.
It's a 10 kill lead, it's a camouflage, it's a shock rifle. All the pieces are there for Optic Gaming to win this one now. TSM, I think we're starting to see them slowly fall away from this tournament, from this series. To try and close a gap like this against Optic Gaming. Optic are not one to throw away a lead like this.
TSM just crumbling on Sunday. Taulek goes down. He was all alone in tower. His teammates all over towards A and gold now. SoulSnipe trying to get some space for his team, but is it too little, too late? 2 kills required now. It's a matter of when, not if, Optic Gaming double their series advantage. SoulSnipe will get a kill, but it means little now. Formal gets 1. He's the last man standing for his team for now, opting wisely to back away. But it really is a relentless Optic Gaming here. TSM have not been able to handle the pressure and the pace. Manny's in tower, Druk gets a kill. Taulek gets another, but it just takes Optic Gaming to get 1. They can 4-stack somewhere and wait. Formal has watched his teammates die twice. Plasma grenade lands at his feet, he just somehow survives.
I think you had it right. It's not about if, it's when. It's inevitable at this point. It would be a miraculous comeback from TSM. And sadly, Taulek is going to walk right into the French phenom. Lqgend cleans it up. Optic 2-0 in the series. And they have 1 foot in the door of that grand final.
That trapdoor opens again. TSM look to walk right over it. All smiles for Optic Gaming. Greenwall starting to chant. They know victory is near. TSM just haven't shown enough here.
It begs the question, you know, with Optic Gaming, where was this on Friday? You've made it so hard for yourselves to put yourself in this position through this elimination bracket as well. But alas, they won't care. As long as they get to that grand final and they give themselves the opportunity to lift that trophy once more. I remember back in Arlington when we saw them lose to Nemesis. Everyone was kind of, oh, you know, is this God Squad going to be that God Squad? They answered those questions very quickly. They're doing exactly the same thing here at Dallas. Lqgend put up 15, Formal with 13 as well. The 2 players who I said had a rough series last time against TSM. well, they've showed that it was just a one-off.
Take a look at the damage then. Lqgend, 4K, bound, 4.4 leading the lobby. And you can tell they were all firing on all cylinders. And I think it's something you want to you know was you mentioned, Dan. Why couldn't you just do this in pool play? But there's something exciting about Optic Gaming with the way they play, with their play style. There's a lot of risk involved. And sometimes if the timing's not there, if they get it just a bit wrong, it can go awry. And we've seen that in pool play. These 4 players are so talented, but there's flaws there. There's weakness.
It is also worth noting that I know I joke and say, where was this during pool play? But at the same time, it was a 50-49 that separated themselves in TSM from Optic, topping that group and having a very different bracket to walk through as well. We may have seen Optic kind of walked through to the winners finals themselves had they have won that 50-49. Well, something a little bit different though for this series. We've got neutral bomb on Fortress. Now, I'd love to try and tell you that this is something that TSM can maybe take Optic down, but actually when we have seen Optic play neutral bomb, they've looked very confident on it. The way that they can manipulate the map in their favor, take control of the opposition snipe tower, for example. TSM may struggle here, and we might just see that history repeat itself.
Taking a look at the bomb stats then. Records 1 and 2 for TSM. Like you mentioned, Dan, rightly, a 3-0 record for Optic Gaming. 1st versus 9th in the league. So when you have a map mode combination, when you need something to show signs of life, when you want your best map mode to show up in Game 3, that just isn't coming to fruition for TSM.
And I'll be honest, I think this could be any map mode for Game 3. And I think Optic are just in such fine form at the moment, and TSM sadly on that downward trend. It's so difficult as a player to pick yourself up when you're in this position. You've just lost 5 matches on the bounce, 5 maps in a row, excuse me. And you're about to be looking at being eliminated from the competition. This is how the elimination bracket has looked thus far. Of course, Optic Gaming 2-0 against TSM right now. But on the upper hand, it's FaZe Clan waiting in that grand final. Could this be the tournament for FaZe Clan? All the talk about Rebellion, Optic Gaming, who's the best, who's going to take this one? Well, FaZe have answered any critics and also demonstrated that they may be a powerful force, the powerful force in this tournament.
And it's funny you mentioned that. The conversations around the teams, it was always Optic and Rebellion. They look really good. And then people were talking about another team. It was SSG. They're not looking so great. They're not looking so hot. FaZe Clan didn't even enter the conversation. Well, they're inserting themselves in the conversation now. They're in the grand finals. And these 2 teams have had stark contrasting competitions so far. Both, though, have gone through the brackets with a big club and have just been bonking teams that are put in front of them.
Speaking of bonking teams, Lqgend and Renegade have been doing it as well. Both of them destroying their opposition. It's very hard to try and come back into a series, come back into a game, let alone when you have 2 players firing like these 2 are. You could say that for any 4 of these Optic members. If anyone has a slight off series, there's always someone else to pick it up for them, and that's why they are one of the very best, if not the very best, certainly from what we saw in Arlington. But fist bumps all around as map 3 is starting to get loaded here. Is there anything left in the tank from TSM? Or is it going to be history repeating itself as they go back-to-back 0-3s to fall out of the tournament here on Sunday?
Optic Gaming have been like mercenaries, hired guns, ruthless to any team put in front of them. Now putting TSM to the sword. Because they're on the back foot, they're on the ropes. And just one haymaker away from complete elimination from the tournament. Can they bob and weave? Can they get the head movement going? Can they throw something back at themselves? Jab, jab, duck and weave. It's time now, or your competition, your tournament run, as impressive as it was, it's over.
I'm not even sure Optic need a haymaker, just a little poke. And we might see TSM fall out of this one. That's how good Optic have been so far. That's how flawless they've been on this elimination bracket run as we are underway. Snipers galore. Can Taulek be the one that just elevates TSM and gives them something, some form of life in this series? Gives the fans something to believe in that maybe you can take down Optic, maybe you can get back into this series.
Druk utilising the overshield. Fortunately, though, teammates are falling down around him, and now he's isolated. All 4 guns it seemed from Optic Gaming were pointed in his direction. Such was the communication, such was the threat he posed in the armory. TSM's threat has been dealt with here. And now Optic Gaming can push forward themselves. They've got a couple of sniper rifles to play with. And you know, when I say play with it, Dan, that means nothing but pain for TSM.
Yeah, I think TSM maybe will be a bit frustrated that they weren't able to capitalize on having both sniper rifles there. I mean, if it was me going against Optic and I was able to gain their snipe, I would certainly be wasting that ammo. Even the very best do it against their greatest enemies in opposition because they know it's so deadly in their hands as Formal just sends that bomb towards the base. TSM on the back foot a little bit. Optic are able to get some kills their way, but there is a good position from Druk. Really have to manipulate the map in a certain way here to try and just have the elevation over your opponents to get the jump on them.
The bomb has been juggled, been pushed forward. Lqgend and Bound are in the respawn screen, so numbers advantage now favoring TSM. Manny gets another kill. Formal will equal the odds. Bound's coming off the respawn. Manny reluctant to push this bomb up the steps and hesitating just a touch.
I've seen that a few times from TSM where they'll throw a grenade prematurely when actually they could probably just get the kill with the bandit. And they find themselves getting caught with their pants down a little bit because they're in the grenade animation. Just little tiny mistakes here and there.
Many nuances to Halo. You think if you just keep your bandit up, you can keep putting damage down, but when you're in that grenade animation, like Dan rightfully says, you just take damage for free, particularly if that grenade's not going to find its intended target. Druk gets another overshield, but did he really? Because it's completely gone.
Optic just all calling him out and making sure that overshield does not get away. Overshield depleted, and overshield not going to be a part of this next passenger play. We do know that bomb on Fortress can be very, like a big stalemate at times between two teams, as it's difficult to get the bomb across. Very heavy, the bomb as well. You try and juggle it, but it does take some time to get it all the way across to the other side of the map. So you might have had 4 dead, start moving the bomb, but everyone's up before you've even got there. It does require multiple rounds of slays before you can actually get an arm.
It can be a grueler, but again, the bomb's on the move. Taulek pressuring the spawns now. Tosses the snipe off the map. We don't mind that. Again, Optic Gaming, anytime they lose that first wave of slays, they play defense, they clear TSM out.
Chance maybe to arm this one though. You can see Lqgend was moving it. But it does get reset, gets tossed off, so we'll just be right back to square one for these two. You'll see a lot of that this game, of when that bomb does get into the danger area, just trying to take it to somewhere where you can toss it off quickly. Even if you are behind, even if you are struggling on slays.
Bomb now starting to move the wrong way if you're a TSM fan. A couple of kills will relieve a little bit of pressure though. SoulSnipe gets another. Lqgend down towards arches. He'll be loving it. Right now, you know the next bomb plan's going to be so pivotal in this series. You feel TSM have got to get it. And hope and pray they can hold on to the lead. Because if Optic Gaming get the first plant, Dan, the world is their oyster. They can play it any which way they want.
Yeah, this will be series over if they get the first plant. I think we know that. TSM had overshield for a second there, but Optic were just waiting for them. Ambushing them from above. TSM just sadly walked into so much gunfire from Optic Gaming that the overshield was once again negated. It's a good game plan from Optic, to be honest. They're not throwing too much resources towards getting the overshield and then taking a fight and then going 3 or 4 down. Instead, they're just making sure they call out the overshield, because you can deplete it so fast as long as at least 2 of you are looking at it.
There's 2 ways to look at this as well. It's that TSM playing very well here. They're getting the bomb into Optic Gaming's base consistently. The issue is, when they do, they don't even look like they can get the plant. And you know if the script flips, Optic Gaming will punish them. It will be clinical. TSM have got to find a way to get the bomb in that zone and start putting some plants in. But 3 go down for them. And again, we're going to have this stalemate. Talk about grueling, how grueling this bomb on Fortress can be. Just takes stamina, it takes resilience. TSM are going to have to show that in abundance.
Really have to brute force your way into the enemy base. Maybe that's what Optic are going to try and do here. They're going to go for a little slight different approach, moving the bomb on the right-hand side towards their opposition tower. 3 are going to be dead on the side of TSM. But Optic aren't going to be able to arm it here. They have to make sure they slay once more, because you can already see Manny off spawn takes down Bound.
It's always difficult to bring the bomb in on the snipe side as well. The armory spawn is usually the preferred place to block. Lqgend and Formal and Bound keep getting kills. They're making this work. Renegade gets another. Lqgend though, he brought the bomb front base. Like you say, that thing's heavy. Takes a while to move. Takes a while to shift. But an overshield now for Bound. The bomb is being armed. We spoke about how clinical they can be. 2 go down for TSM. Bound's moving in now. Manny in the spiral staircase. He should get taken care of and does. Danger not cleared now for TSM. Still a lot of work to do. Taulek trying to close distance, will get the kill and doesn't get traded. But the problem is, he's the last man alive for his team now. Only for a moment though.
This is going to be the best chance for Optic Gaming. They've got 3 dead several times here. They're very firmly in the base of TSM. A little bit like rugby, to be honest. Passing the bomb back, someone else grabs it, and then someone grabs it again, but I think the bomb just reset.
Objective incoming.
So even though Optic were certainly in the ascendancy there and tried as they might to get into the TSM base, you can really see when one team just backs off and plays defense, it's so hard to get that arm.
Continue to slay out for Taulek, double kill.
Remaining.
We're on this map of mode. I've always seen a siege in my mind. I just get Lord of the Rings music in my head. Din, 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 din. We're just waiting for one player to run in with the bomb and explode. Open this game completely up.
Take him down, Legolas!
Do go down for Optic Gaming. And again, Halo being played on the right side of the court. You're a TSM fan. Another round of slay is required though. Bomb still hasn't been moved, but SoulSnipe getting comfortable behind enemy lines. Down in the basement. Engagements happening around bottom middle. TSM getting the better of it again. Just need to get their hands on the bomb. 4 minutes on the clock now. They look the more dangerous. They are threatening more. That's good for TSM.
However, I will say that TSM, how many times can you kind of put your back to the wall and defend when Optic do start to gain control here? All it takes is that 1-4 dead at exactly the same time for Optic to truly set up around your base, and you feel like this game's going to be over. So TSM almost need to make sure they are sending one player around as like a flanker at all times. Otherwise, you are just going to fall into that same trap from Optic Gaming. Someone to disrupt what Optic are trying to set up. 3 dead again for TSM. But again, not the worst thing. Just having that one player to survive to give the question mark to Optic Gaming as where are they? So they start to look for them. Druk now goes down. Manny was alive. Formal gets shut down as well. Bomb gets thrown back out. TSM are defending again here.
Bomb down in the courtyard. 3 members are down for a moment for TSM as well. Bounds in the basement. He gets cleared out again. Optic Gaming now is starting to pose a little bit more of a threat. They're starting to ask a few more questions. They're starting to turn the screw.
So many grenades just being tossed towards that planting area as well. And the sniper now in the hands of Manny. It looks like TSM have been able to hold off yet another push here, but the bomb is still in a dangerous area. Remember, they can just wait 10 seconds and it will reset. Manny arguably doesn't even need to toss this one out because it could be risky, could be putting his life in jeopardy.
Bomb reset.
There you go, another reset. 2 minutes and 38 left on the clock here. TSM are holding on right now, not just to this game, but to this tournament.
2 members of Optic Gaming converge after Lqgend lost his life to the sniper rifle player. Manny goes down. 1v1 here. It's not pretty between Bound and Druk. Both opting to stay alive for now. We're going to re-engage. Druk hoping his teammates would help, and they did. They made sure Bound didn't get his shields back. 1 ticket damage was enough just to stop the recharge. Renegade closed the distance over towards the basement as well. Bomb is still down in a neutral position though. It's Druk now that can have a heavy influence on what way this next few moments start to swing. Now we head to the final 2 minutes mark. 1 bomb plant should be enough here.
Lqgend does fall. Druk is in a pretty advanced position here, but needs to stay alive and needs help. Overshield's just popped as well. Looks like TSM were able to grab it, and now they can maybe start moving this bomb, but you can see Formal's in a position to be a nuisance, but he also falls. This is going to be TSM's best opportunity to take some control.
Here they come then. The siege tactics being deployed once more. But again, Optic Gaming hold the line. 2 go down for TSM every single time. Optic are put in that position. They get the opening pick, they get the double kill. and they push themselves back out again.
Well, TSM have thrown everything at that one, and now Optic Gaming are going to wrestle back control and start to move this bomb as well. Bomb gets passed off between them. So they know they need to focus on Slays, but again, it's SoulSnipe who's able to get behind enemy lines, but Renegade's also going to be there for a double of his own.
Renegade needs to be shut down. Currently sitting at 21, 10, and 18. Pretty consistent game from him. Formal gets a kill on Taulek elsewhere, and now, see the play call has been Renegade's trying to get behind enemy lines. Be a nuisance. Be a real issue, a thorn in the side. Make TSM turn around. Starting to apply pressure to those spawners now. Manny down to no shields. Pretty routine kill. Make it a double. Perfect shots from Renegade.
30 seconds.
3 go down now. The Renegade Master pushes forward towards the armory. Applying pressure to those fresh spawners once more. Legend's there. This could be the moment. Here and now. Bomb being armed. The fuse is half lit. Dropping in the 1v1 engagement. All 4 dead for TSM. Formal with hands on bomb. It's planted. Kaboom.
That's going to be the game, surely, for Optic Gaming. The series, the grand final. 14 seconds for TSM to try and push this bomb across. There's not going to be time here.
You give Optic Gaming a chance. You give them a moment, a sliver of hope. They'll make you pay. They get the bomb plant. They have the overshield. This game is done and dusted. This series is over. A clean sweep on the main stage. 3-0.
Optic Gaming go into the grand finals, where they have a matchup that you will not want to miss against FaZe Clan. 2 of the biggest orgs in esports and 2 of the biggest teams in Halo are going to duke it out in a best of 7, maybe 2 best of 7s, if Optic Gaming are able to reset that bracket. Sadly for TSM, their Sunday comes to a very abrupt end. It's 2 0-3s back-to-back. Very much reminiscent of the 2022 Halo World Championship. But for Optic Gaming, the revenge is found as they take down TSM and now start to look eyes trained towards FaZe.
If the barometer is who's looking the more likely to win the grand finals, and you want to use TSM as the comparison, we are no closer to finding out. This one's going to be anyone's game. But this series comes to its conclusion. Dominant from Optic Gaming once more, 250 to 54. 50-40 Slayer recharge. And finally getting that plant in on neutral bomb. TSM sent home, Optic Gaming marching on.
Even though TSM were close in that final last game, it just felt like they were holding on a little bit, Lottie.
They certainly were indeed. I will say I am happy with how TSM came back and rebutted a little bit from the cold start they had against FaZe. We saw a little bit more life from them. So that's promising, right? Optic Gaming, though, just a whole different level of fish here. I mean, it's just unbelievable stuff. They are not to be stopped at this point in time, especially with TSM coming out cold the way that they had. I was hoping for maybe something to clutch onto, excuse the pun, but clutch. You know, how are you feeling about that series overall?